Hey everybody, it's Mia with TMBH, and it is February 28th, Wellness Wednesday. We're going to talk about enablers because basically every addict has an enabler in their life. I was talking to Dr. B and she had said herself that really after a certain point, the only people in an addict's life are like the people who enable the behavior or ignore the behavior. And we'll get into that a little bit later, but ignoring is a form of enabling actually. So I'm going to talk to you guys about a few different ways in which case somebody could be enabling an addict's behavior. The first way is rationalizing that behavior. So let's say that we're talking about an alcoholic, right? We spoke about Johnny Manziel earlier this week. A lot of people in his life were people who rationalized his behavior, people who excused it with excuses like, oh, well, he's in college, he's a young kid, he's hanging out with celebrities now, he just got famous, so, he's just having fun. And so that's rationalizing behavior that is obviously problematic. And the reason that we know in this particular case that they were rationalizing behavior was because his parents had admitted during the beginning of his career that he had a problem, right? That they felt like they were concerned about his drinking. But even then, they continued to rationalize what they saw as worrisome behavior with the fact that he was young and he was an athlete and he was newly famous, right? So the next thing is cleaning up. Cleaning up is basically when, it's not literally cleaning up, but kind of basically. An example with somebody literally cleaning up would be, let's say we're dealing with an alcoholic, right? So let's say your roommate or your best friend is an alcoholic. You live with your best friend, they're your roommate. Now your roommate is getting drunk every single night and returning home like vomiting on the floor, puking their like guts out into the toilet bowl, right? And next thing you know, you wake up in the middle of the night, you see them like passed out in front of the toilet in their own vomit. So what you do, because the nice best friend that you are, you don't want to see them like that. So you clean up the toilet, clean up the vomit, get them up, change them into some fresher clothes, lay them in bed. Then next thing you know, they wake up in the morning and, they're probably not feeling 100%, but they definitely feel a lot better than you would feel if you woke up in a pile of your own vomit, right? Now, that friend is a really nice person, but at the same time, some people do unfortunately need to understand the full grasp or the full weight of the situation they're in. When you have a serious problem like addiction, it's very important that you allow these people to see what they're getting themselves into and not clean it up for them at all. The next thing is ignoring the behavior. Ignoring is enabling, right? And I would consider enabling as anything that is not allowing the addict to realize the full weight of their problem. Enabling is anything that shields them from the full weight of their problem. And ignoring is definitely one of those things. If you have somebody who has this very, very obvious problem where they're like clearly like this is not okay, and you allow them to just kind of continue on and ignore the fact that they are being problematic. So for example, if let's say you're a coworker and it's like a coworker who you're kind of friends with, and you notice that they come into work every morning and they smell like alcohol, and you've realized that for like a while now. And now what you're doing is you kind of play it off, you never mention it, but you smell the alcohol in their breath. It's so obvious, they make it obvious, and in a lot of cases they might even joke about it, and then you laugh it off, with them. You ignore the problem. Again, that's something that's shielding them from realizing the full weight of their problem. If somebody is an addict and they're joking about their addiction, or they have a very obvious addiction and they're kind of like allowing it to be very present, it's best for you to not ignore it and kind of just address it with them. The last thing that I'm going to address is lying and making excuses for the addict. That's a very common one. So like, let's say the example is your partner, and you and your partner are supposed to go to a family dinner, and your partner ends up not being able to come because they're incredibly high. Or they were out getting high, then they come back home and they're high, and you're supposed to leave for dinner, but you can't take them with you because you're not going to take them to a family dinner while they're high, right? So now your family's like, hey, where's your partner at? And then you're like, oh, he had to work late, right? It's a minor lie, but again, that's something that's protecting that person. Maybe they do need to witness people being disappointed in them, including people who are close, like family, So yeah, that's just kind of what we're going to go over in terms of enabling, because there's endless ways in which you can enable somebody. Those are just a few examples. The best thing I would say for other people to do, just if you have an addict in your life, assess what you're doing in their life. Are you enabling them in any way, or are you helping them to realize that they have a problem? You don't always, sometimes that just means that you're like, you know what, look, you have a problem and I'm not going to deal with you while you're high, while you're drunk, whatever. So just look at the addict in your life and try to figure out what you're doing in their life. Check out our daily video. We have a daily video, not just this one. We have another one. Check that out. And I will see you guys back here tomorrow at 1 o'clock for Getting Through It Thursday.